Just settle back and pay attention for a moment to your physical body and the space that your body is in. In a few minutes, we're going to do an inquiry around communication and saying hard things or difficult things, or things that have some charge to them. And before we start, it's always a good idea to really come into the present moment. Even just those words about communication, difficult things to say, will have garnered a response in most of us. It might have come up as thought or some kind of sensation. And for the next few minutes before we actually start looking into that, let's tune into the body and the breath and the mind. Tune into the environment, the whole experience. You start by noticing your physical body. Notice the space that your body is occupying right now. And notice all of the sensations and sensory perceptions that are in that space. Some of them are coming from the nearby surrounding space, like the feeling of air on our skin or the sounds coming in to your ears. Others are more internal. Muscles, nerves, joints, our experience of being in a body. And notice if there's any tightness or tension in your body. It's always helpful to go through the body for a moment and notice what's there. So starting with the forehead and the eyebrows, many of us carry tightness through that part of the body. And just by putting your attention there, allow it to soften. The corners of the eyes and the deep muscles of the eyes, letting your sense of sight turn inward. And the hinges of the jaw, your tongue, your teeth, corners of the mouth, the throat, vocal cords. And we'll come back to that area as we go into the inquiry part. So notice what's going on there as we start. If there's obvious tightness, if the lower jaw and upper jaw need a bit more space from each other, allow your hinges of your jaw to soften so that can happen. And then notice the rest of the neck, the back of the neck, and down into the shoulders. Notice if there's any tightness or shielding going on in the back of the neck, the large muscles of the back. And then coming back down through the face, the front of the throat, down into the large muscles of the chest. Noticing the movement of the chest and of the stomach as you breathe. If there's thoughts in the mind, let them be in the background a little bit if that's possible. Focus your attention on sensation. Sensation in the chest, sensation of breathing, and also energetic sensation might be present anywhere in the body. And soften your stomach muscles, allow the body to breathe without any directive from you. So allow a natural breath to emerge as you soften your muscles, let go of any effort in the breath. And then becoming aware of your arms and hands, your legs and feet, so that you're aware of your whole body from head to toes. And pay attention now to the thought stream. Notice what's going on in your mind. So in addition to the thoughts in the mind, there's also the observing that's happening, the witnessing. There's also the space in which all of this is being seen. So trying to remain attentive to that as we're doing the practice, that thoughts come up as words and images, they come up as sounds and colors and shapes, and that we're watching them or observing them. And that often thoughts come in with some kind of an energetic reaction or response in the body as well. Some thoughts are neutral, some positive, some negative. And as we do the inquiry, trying to maintain that perspective that we're watching thought, we're not the thoughts, that thoughts are arising and we're paying attention to them. And also that we're continuing to breathe, we're continuing to be supported in the environment that we're in. And also really pay attention to the whole mechanism of speech. There's thought in the mind. There's also the vocal cords and the tongue and the mouth and the kind of sub-vocalizing that can happen in that area of your body. And then bring to mind an example of something that you are remembering when you had a hard time saying what it is you wanted to say, or something that might be coming up, some discussion that you think maybe it would be a good idea for you to be more honest about how you feel about something. Or even just, the next time this happens, that this person says that to me, I would like to do this. I would like to respond in this way. These are the words I would like to use. And take a moment to imagine that in some detail or remember that in some detail. Remembering that you're looking at thought. And as you're imagining or remembering, notice what's happening in your body. If there's any new energy or sensation, it could be in your heart center, in your stomach, anywhere in your body, really. When you're noticing in vivid detail, you're noticing the room, the people in it, the look on someone's face. You're noticing if there's any sounds or aromas in the room. And you're also aware of the energy or sensation. And then as you're looking, consider the question of what it is that might be present that would be stopping you from saying what it is you'd like to say, or from moving forward with how you'd like to share something. What comes up when you think about doing that? It could be thoughts coming in as words or images. It could be a sensation in your body. And remembering to breathe, remembering that we're looking at thought. and feeling sensation. If it feels somewhat risky to go ahead and do this, invite the evidence for that to come forward. There's some part of us that might feel like we're not going to be liked. It might be dangerous to say that. We might not feel included. We might be too vulnerable. There's all kinds of things that could come up. Might be something around fear of what the other person might do if we say those words. And staying connected with any energy or sensation in your body, as well as noticing thought. Notice if there's any activity in the mouth or the jaw, the vocal cords. And if there's words or images coming up, see if there's any sense of a threat or any sense of urgency when you look at those words or images. If they're both, you might put a caption on an image or picture. Really have a good look at that image and the words. If it feels like it would be better, then you could open your eyes and put this on a wall. It's always a good option. However it is that you can see that these are thoughts that are coming up, that they're not you, they're happening in your own mind, these thoughts are coming up, and that you're looking at them. Allowing your breath to continue to flow smoothly. If you're right in that picture or thought or image that you're looking at, see if you can take a step back so that you can see that you're watching yourself in the image, that you're not looking out at the situation as though you're looking out from your own eyes. Your mind might be going to a worst case scenario. It's almost like there's a warning going on. Oh, you better not do that because look what could happen. And there might be one thing or might be a bunch of things. If there's a lot, you could put them up like a collage and look at them all like a group. And look to see if the images that have come into your mind or the words that have come in could put you in immediate danger. Is there a threat in the images or the words just by themselves? And one of the ways that we know whether that feels threatening is if there's a response in the body, if there's an energy that comes up in response to the thought. And if you're noticing energy, notice where it is, notice the dimensions, the qualities. Is it hot or cold? Is it light? Is it heavy? Is it sharp boundaries? Is it diffuse? Notice where it's located and where you can't feel it anymore. What are the dimensions? Allow the thoughts to move to the side for a moment and focus directly on the energy. Notice if it feels like this is okay to be focusing directly on the energy. Like if you could put your attention right into the very center of the space where that energy is appearing, what would the situation look like from the inside of that energy? If that feels too intense, notice the outside edges of the energy. Notice the qualities of it, the attributes. Notice if there's any feeling of malice or intention to harm in the energy itself, or if the energy is here in some other way. If thoughts come up that feel kind of persistent, notice that there are thoughts coming up. They come up as shapes and colors, and the mind makes meaning. Notice that that's a thought that you're looking at. That you're feeling sensation, paying attention. And also observing this whole process, how thought comes up, how the urge to speak arrives, what happens in the mouth and throat and vocal cords as we get the urge to speak. And if you imagine yourself saying those words, whatever it is and however it is you'd like to say it, notice the effect of that. And really bring that to life. Notice yourself saying the words. Notice how you feel. Notice the reaction of the other person. And reminding yourself that you're looking at words and images and feeling sensation. That this isn't actually something that's happening. This is something that you're doing in your own mind. The mind has lots of evidence, usually based on past experience. Well, I know from experience if I say this, then this is how the person's going to react. And in fact, that's a useful tool at times, and other times it's more useful to take a step back and notice that the mind is doing this process, that nothing is actually happening right now. And become attentive again to the breath and to your physical body. Notice how it feels now in comparison to how it felt before. Let your mind kind of review the last few minutes and noticing the different experiences that came up during the inquiry. Some of them were thought, some were physical. And notice your breath. Let your breath really bring you back into this space that your body is in, into the present moment. And open your eyes. Notice the new input through the visual field. Notice that visual images often create more associations or responses in our bodies. And notice as well that you can come back to this practice at any time. You could do it later in the day. You could do it when you're actually talking to somebody. This monitoring of our bodies, the sensation or energy that comes up. And noticing that thought is being seen. Words can be heard, images can be seen, energies can be felt. And that this is a process in the human mind and body, our experience, that we can observe and watch as well as participate in.